On another day, chasing the noses away.
All right, I wanted to ask you about your tribe now. I was listening to the last interview that you did, and they mentioned that you're actually a chief, a chief. So, wow. How did you become a chief? I mean, a chief of what? Like do you have like a team of people, or like how do you become a chief? You know what I mean?
Well, I gotta kind of like thank that to my, my ancestors and my grandparents and all that from being, who they are. What I did, started researching, what I mean, my lineage and stuff like that. Cause both of my parents is adopted, so it left everything like kind of like fucked up for me. You know what I mean? And my dad, you know what I mean? So my dad left when I was younger. My mom, we didn't really have no tight relationship. So all this was like out in the open, you know what I mean? So, I dug into, when you're in this journey, you started trying to find you, especially when you in hip hop. That's what hip hop was built to do, make you journey to find you. And I'm happy to be born into that era where, I was born and saved by hip hop, where it helped me grow up to be a man like that. You know what I mean? Educated by everybody's scenarios. That's what hip hop used to do. You know what I mean? Be educated by all the scenarios. So what I did was go back, learn my lineage and things like that, and started learning who my ancestors and things were. And more I started helping people out and helping different tribes out. I started learning that everybody wasn't on their ancestors and lineage and stuff like that. So what I did was I noticed that I had some very strong connections to some of the first inhabitants of ancestors that were on this land, like the Washita, the Yamasee, Ben Ishmael, would lead to out to, the extended tribes from all over Ohio. That's what I'm saying. The research going, all these tribes that first inhabited this land that was on North America, that was coming from Egypt. It's like, this is some deep knowledge, man. Coming from Egypt and shit like that. They were landing, coming to these meccas here, the Ohio, over in Mexico. This is why the pyramids and all these, you get these mounds that exist all over the country, that exist, that match other mounds from other countries in Egypt and stuff like that, because these are the documents in history that we have that document us here. So what I started doing was helping people, things like that. I got to helping a tribe out in Canada and things like that. And then, what they did was, give me a honorary chief, medallion recognized by chief for helping them, freeing them from their status, freeing them from a lot of shit. And just for me doing my research and me, on my journey trying to set myself free, I was setting other people free, and you know what I mean. And during that moment, a tribe blessed me with, a gift of being the chief, or like they seen it that way.
What tribe is this called? Actually,
my tribe or the tribe?
Yeah, your tribe.
My tribe is the Washita. It was one of the oldest indigenous tribes recorded from the United Nations here on to the documents, treaties, George Washington, everybody. You take it all the way back to the Queen, King George. Everybody know who we are. Our monuments and who we are is everywhere. You go to Vatican and see the Pope, when you see these so-called black paintings with dudes in gold, the black Madonna and all this stuff. They were symbolizing the fact that Egypt and Native and America and all these were an empire all together, and these were the people. And this is what happens when nations after nations and people, you get racism and jealousy. You get so much shit formed into one, man. It's too deep to even try to combine. But I was blessed from another tribe to be a chief. And then after that, it was just a blessing to coincide with the cosmic. I was granted a chief to be here in Ohio. There was nothing here, nobody here to protect us, sacred lands of Ohio. So all that was a blessing. And, once I got that blessing, I started, opening it up and started helping people find their way back home. Because Ohio, the mound, Serpent Mound, have been here for ages. And people have been covering that knowledge up. There's so much knowledge in Ohio that's covered up, you wouldn't believe. I mean, you can go back there and go to the politics. We had 3 presidents come out of Ohio. You had President Obama take our mayor out of Ohio. You had him the next year say he loved Youngstown, Ohio. You got a lot of political things that go on. You can't win corporate ballot without a swing state of Ohio.
Yeah, yeah, that's true.
So and no organized crime thing will move unless Ohio validated.
Wow.
So I mean, it's so much. There's so much history here that
You must have got an A in history class.
I did all right, man. I did all right considering I wasn't trying to pay attention and was rapping and into hip hop. I did all right, man.
That's cool, man. It's been really good to talk to you, man. How could people, reach you, if they needed to,
Right.
give some information.
That's been our biggest, probably our biggest and smallest pet peeve of how to contact us through the years, just because of people stealing our music. You got extreme biters and everything out here today. And, we already dealt with this in the music industry ourselves personally from artists. And, because like I said, I did a lot of stuff, man. I've been out here for a long time behind the scene. And I know what you niggas do. I know what the music industry people do.
You were in the Villians crew.
Yeah,
they're a very popular underground dope hip hop crew from
doubt.
Youngstown.
From the early '90s.
Everybody knows that are real true hip hop heads.
Yeah, no doubt.
Let's talk about the villain. How was your villain experience? Like you're still a villain right now. I mean, you guys are still together, kind of, right?
No doubt.
But how was it to be a part of the Villains?
To be, that's a great question, man, because that's what we really evolved to when you come to the SG, the Sovereign Gangster. We went from being villains, being best friends, growing up, being young together, just being, growing up, experiencing life, rapping, hip hop, a tight crew you could never separate. Then we grew so big with people, and people had so much love for us, and we realized in Youngstown, everybody's damn near related. You got people related to this and that. So, we got so much love and started growing within our family and our crew. We started to be called the Villain Mafia, because that's where we come from. We come from Youngstown, Ohio, organized crime, perfect setting of what we are and what we do. After that, and being a villain, man, it's about friendship and honor and loyalty. We've been friends since we were all like 15, 14, you know what I mean? And
who started the? I mean, give me a
the first two members of the Villains were me and my homeboy Noble Bull. His name is Arian. That's me and my homeboy. We used to be riding around, and I used to be the only one rapping. I tried to get him. I used to have everybody rapping. We used to be gang banging and all that shit like that. So we was always riding, and me and him was like, yo, we straight villains. And then, we was always in the hood, and, we had our friends that just started riding with us. And then, everybody, and it came from Eric, Clarence, Sleep, these like my best friend, my cousin, you know what I mean?
All talented, too. All dope.
Yeah, no
all
doubt.
Dope.
And then history itself, right? And then here we are now. We still the Villain Mafia all day, but we, the SGs, we evolved to having so much family, like I said, from growing and all this and being in so much shit political and stuff like that. We have become grown, mature. We are sovereign. If you look in the study what sovereign means, it means that we're a mature nation. We're a mature group of we the people of the Constitution. We want to handle our own state, our own affairs, our own business, our own things like that, our own food without being poisoned, our own right to bear arms, or everything that ain't got nothing to do with this corporate government, the police, and this fake shit. And we on some grown shit, and we're taking responsibility for the gap. Like I was telling in my last interview, that people aren't stepping up being responsible for. These older people in the business, these millionaires, these people in this country that got all this money to say they taking care of charities, these people who are in the music businesses who won't grow up and mature and feed our young people and these people food. Not they bullshit, not they club shit. You feeding these children bullshit, man. You feeding us bullshit. And I'm grown. I'm not going to eat it. I'm going to smack it out my hand and smack it out your hand and tell you I don't eat that shit. And since I'm grown and I can bite back, I'll bite y'all niggas back. You feel me? Because you ain't going to feed me that shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man. Yeah. I'm definitely looking forward to hearing the album when it comes out, man.
No doubt. Release of the album. Spring break and summer, we releasing it. And like I said, our contacts, all you got to do is, right now we ain't have no no real point to go to, but all you gotta look up is Google Sovereign Gangsters. By the time the summer shit come up, y'all, Google Sovereign Gangsters, you will find everything you need. You'll find SG shit, promotion, my album, whatever, because we coming, and this motherfucker's all over the world that's on this sovereign shit. And if you feel me, and you feel me, and you know I'm right, get up with us. You feel me? To be a sovereign gangster don't mean we gonna go blast up everybody in the government. We blasting up police. We ain't banging. You feel me? We organized. We smart. We mature. We grown. And you will get your head busted. But our first priority is to make sure the children is cool, make sure all this shit is cool, make sure our eating, our health, and everybody in my circle, what we deal with, everybody in the nation, we eating. You mean, and we making a difference. You know what I mean? Other than
Definitely.
get down or lay down, nigga.
Yeah, and be on the lookout for that Cold Hearts music video.
Oh, definitely, Cold Hearts, man. That's my my single that I'm putting out during all this war and shenanigans. I'm still in a peace zone where I like to create music, where I'm a producer and I write it, and I mean, and I appreciate Fuego Films and Dave shooting the video, and I mean, and the people that's in it, Filthy Rich, the artists on it, and everybody that's gonna be in the video. I appreciate your help and your time and shit like that, and big up to my crew, Philly Mafia, SGs all day, Youngstown, Ohio. We here. Fuego Film, Dave Romeo, appreciate the love. King Tut the Don, you know how I get down. The Chief, the Nation of the Moors. Get at me, man.
Thanks for coming.
No doubt.